Hello, it's me again with my incredibly crappy camera, but not as crappy microphone, so maybe you can hear what I say this time. I have been getting no sleep. I don't know about you guys, but this last week it's been difficult. Because I've been taking some new supplements, and one of them is Panax ginseng, which is great for the brain, at least from some of the studies I was reading about, but my brain is very sensitive to things, so it decided it was going to freak out and not sleep for 2 nights in a row, so I am tired. I'm so tired. But this is gonna be another ramble video. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I know some of you said you were all struggling with feeling lonely before, so I hope it's gotten better for you. I know how it feels. I am an hour and a half away from anybody that I'm close to, which doesn't sound so bad, but when you're in a different country, it's a lot harder, I think. But it's been getting better though, and same thing for you. It will get better if you're experiencing loneliness or depression or anxiety. It's going to get better. Actually, fun thing about that, studies basically show that if you can survive your 20s, you can survive anything. That's an incredibly abbreviated version of what they show, but if you can get through your 20s, if you are in your 20s now, then things get easier after them. Basically, the 20s are the hell years for a lot of people. It's ridiculous. It's like your 20s and then your 80s. Or 90s. Let's say 90s. So if you are in either one of those age groupings, I am so sorry. I am in my 20s, so sorry, one of my best friends, the one who lives an hour and a half away, just messaged me asking why I was messaging her at 6 a.m. And that is a fantastic question. The answer is, as I said before, I have not been able to sleep. So, babe, if you're watching this, that's why. Also, I'm sorry, this is my first time really using this mic, so I hope that the sound comes out okay. I hope that my laughter isn't too harsh on your ears. We'll see. But fun update, I'm getting a cat. And I didn't think that I would be able to, because it's very hard to adopt in Korea when you're a foreigner. Well, it's pretty hard to adopt because there's a concern that you'll abandon the pet, which makes sense. It's a good thing to vet people who want to adopt. But obviously I wouldn't be abandoning a pet. When I get my pet, it's of course for their lifetime, so but people wouldn't know that when they just met me anyways. So I thought that maybe I wouldn't be able to adopt a pet while I was here, even though that would be helpful for companionship, and I've wanted to have a cat of my own for a while now, since my family's last cat died. But with the whole process and money and we need to make sure the cats are spayed or neutered and have all their shots. I wasn't sure if now was the right time. But I have some friends who are taking care of a cat, and she doesn't have a home at all, and she's very, very cute and small, and she has been bullied by humans. So she has been very stressed in the past, and it caused a lot of her teeth to rot, because apparently if a cat experiences a lot of stress, that can happen. And so most of her teeth have been taken out, which I shouldn't find humorous, and I don't. The only reason why I find it humorous is because she is being taken care of now. I wouldn't find it humorous if she was just left on her own with barely any teeth. It's just amusing to me because she's so small and cute, and then she only has these two she only has these two front teeth, which the good thing though is apparently cats can actually chew on things without most of their teeth, which I didn't realize. It just has to be smaller. So she can still chew on things. She can still chew on like hard food, but I'll alternate between hard and wet food. Anyways, so I'm very excited about that. She's adorable, and I feel for her having been abandoned, and I think she's lonely right now, and I can relate to that. So yeah, so I'm so excited about that. The issue though is that I have a plant that might be toxic for her, so I need to research that, because the plant was my first baby, but I'm going to prioritize the cat, obviously. I might have to throw out my plant. I'm not happy about that. Anyways, other things. Oh, one of my students isn't able to vocalize very well, and they have been bringing me presents in class to show that they care, and they somehow figured out that I really liked cats, and so now I have a small cat plushie and a poster cat, which I have nothing to do with, but I will never throw that thing away, because just the fact that they gave something to me makes me happy. And they've brought me snacks before, and there was one time that they came up to me. It was a really hot day, and they had this like push fan, I guess. Like you can push in a button and it turns the fan a couple of rotations. And they came up to me and they had this very serious look on their face, and they started they started pushing the button to spin the fan just directly in my face. Anyways, it's very, very cute. I'm sorry. This is another ramble video. I'm just talking about the many different things I've been thinking about. Oh, fun thing. I got a lawn pig pillow. So that's another highlight. Anyways, yeah, I've been experiencing loneliness, but and dealing with depression, but it's starting to get better, I think. And I realized I've just realized some big major things about why I deal with depression. And one of the things that I realized, this is a very short summary of personal revelations, yay, that happened when you're in a foreign country, yay, and dealing with So all of the inward chaos sparkles. So I realized that I am dealing with things like depression and have been dealing with things like depression. In large part because I'm going into mental health, and I just got this very strong feeling recently that it was a way of prepping me for working with people in mental health. And somehow that made, like, the agony that I was experiencing, because I have dealt with very deep episodes of that, somehow it made the agony I was experiencing totally fine. I was still experiencing it. I still am experiencing it to a degree. Feeling like depressed like that. But it was like something kind of clicked for me. And that realization that what I've been experiencing isn't going to last forever. And that what I've been experiencing will actually help me be a better person in the future and help other people in the future meant so much. And when I realized it, it was such a weird sensation to know that I was still dealing with the same issues, but that somehow it was okay, that I burst out laughing. Because it was funny. It's weird. It was a weird experience to suddenly feel okay about something that's so horrible, you know? Anyways, so that was very recent. That happened this last Saturday. And yeah, it was a weird experience. But also, shout out to people who make really good coffee, because before I had that revelation on Saturday night, my friends and I had gone to this fantastic coffee place, and I'd been dealing with this like massive cloud of depression, and I wasn't coming out from under it for a lot of the time. And we went into this coffee shop, and it was minimalistic. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the name of it, because oh gosh, if you ever go to Korea, you've got to go here. It's so good. Granted, there's a lot of really good coffee shops and places to go to in Korea, so this isn't the only place. Let me see if I can find it. Anmil coffee place, and I'll post on my Instagram about it, because it was like this minimalistic coffee shop with dark grays and blacks and stone tables and benches, and which normally, I guess, in the States I might be a little bit put off by, because I would be worried that it would just kind of be this pretentious coffee place, you know, where people roll their eyes and kick you out if you ask for anything other than straight cold brew, which I love. I really appreciate like good coffee. I love cold brew. But it's ridiculous to me because I've experienced this, when you go into a place that serves really good coffee and they aren't understanding of somebody not knowing as much, or don't understand that some people like to have syrup in their coffee. That's fine. Like, I get being a little bit annoyed by someone coming in, especially if that's your craft, and asking for so much sugar in their coffee that they can no longer taste the work that you put in. I get that. I do. I worked at coffee shops, and I'm not gonna lie, there was a day that I had this woman come in and ask me for, I think it was 8 pumps of sugar-free white chocolate and 15 pumps of sugar-free vanilla, something like that, in her iced latte, and it was a horrible experience. Not only for me, but I'm sure for her. I don't know how she could have enjoyed that. And anyways, it was more humorous than horrible for me. I want to release this information to the public, to anyone who hasn't worked in a coffee shop. 1 pump of like Monin syrup, which is used a lot in the US, 1 pump of Monin syrup is 20 grams of sugar. Let's do the math really quickly. She had at the very least 12 pumps of one of those. Oh, it was sugar-free. Never mind. Anyways, it was still disgusting. It may have been sugar-free, but that doesn't stop it from slowing down your metabolism, because sugar-free isn't the best thing if you consume it in very, very, very large quantities, which she was doing. Anyways. But yeah, it's 20 grams. It's 20 grams of sugar per pump. Your average, I'd say 20-ounce latte has at least 4 pumps in it, which means that per vanilla latte that you get, you are probably getting around 80 grams of sugar. Do with that what you will. I'm not shaming people getting that. I myself love a good, actually, I love some sugary lattes every once in a while, but I usually go towards, either cold brews because I want to taste the coffee, I want to taste the different origins, or more espresso based. I like being able to taste someone's craft, basically. I have so many tips because I really like this subject, but one tip is if you want to know whether or not a place is pulling good espresso, there's a couple of very basic things you can look out for. So watch when they're pulling the shots. If they leave a shot that has been pulled on the bar for longer than 20 seconds, I wouldn't drink that, because there's a reaction that happens. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I believe it's a reaction that happens from coming in contact with air, and the shot dies. So you have like 3 parts of a shot, right? You have the crema, which is the lightest part of the shot. It's smooth, lightest part. Then you have the body, which is a little bit darker, and then you have the heart, which is down at the bottom. And over that 20 seconds, everything mixes, and the reaction that happens actually makes it bitter. It changes the taste of the shot overall. And if you work at a coffee shop, you'll realize this pretty quickly. And it's so weird, because you wouldn't think that 20 seconds would make a difference. But you'll taste a shot, 5 seconds after being pulled, and it's like, oh, this is great, this has full body, I love this. And then 15 seconds later you taste it again and you spit into the sink, which I have done a lot of because I've had to pull shots to calibrate them and make sure the machine is doing well. Anyways, so you can look at how long they leave something on the bar for. In order to make sure a shot doesn't die, you want to mix it with something. It can be as simple as mixing it with another shot. You can mix it with ice, pour it over ice. That will keep it alive longer, I guess. Mixing it with milk. And this is the reason why it's a good idea to steam your milk at the same time that you're pulling your shot. So you can just pour your shot in and immediately pour the milk in. So look for that. Also notice how long it takes to pull the shot. So I think between 23 and 28 seconds for a double shot to pull is usually kind of the general optimal range. It changes per machine, it changes per grind. It actually changes every day because a lot of the machines, if not all of them, maybe, a lot of them are based off of water pressure. So if the air pressure changes, which it does every day, and multiple times throughout the day oftentimes, then the shot will change as well. And it can mean the difference between a fantastic, full-bodied, beautiful, shot and the flattest damn thing you've ever tasted in your life, right? So if it pulls between 23 and 28 seconds, you're in better hands. Then listen to the way that they're steaming the milk. If it gets super loud, either someone has ordered something with steamed half and half or like whipping cream, which sounds really, really loud, and that's fine. It doesn't necessarily mean they're burning the milk if they have those two milks in there, or it means that they're burning the milk. Really, you want a soft sound, like paper tearing. It's not going to be super loud, and it should not go on for long enough for it to become a loud sound. By the time it's a loud sound, they are burning the milk, and it really makes a lot more of a difference than you'd realize. I think if people had a really good latte side by side with something that wasn't made as carefully, they would quickly prefer the really good latte. It just, you can tell the difference. This isn't an acquired palate thing. It's something that if you pay attention, you can pick up pretty easily. That was a very long sidetrack, I'm sorry. So I get sidetracked easily. So anyways, I like coffee, obviously. And I had been feeling bad a lot of the day, and honestly I'd been feeling absolutely miserable for the last 2 weeks. And I came to this minimalist coffee shop, and they weren't pretentious there. They were very kind, and it was just a very clean feeling, and it was nicely decorated, and the staff knew what they were talking about from the very little bit that I picked up. And so I kind of went a little bit, I spent a little bit too much money because I was so excited to be in a place where they knew their origins and how to make really good cold brew. And so I got my friend a decaf cold brew, which ended up being basically 2 full cups of cold brew, which would have been enough for 2 people, right? But then of course I had to go and get some sort of Ethiopian combination. I think it was Ethiopian and Colombian, 40%, 60%. I need to look it up again, but I thought that would be nice. Ethiopian is usually more fruity in flavor. If you know anything about coffee, that's one of the first things you learn, right? That the African beans are oftentimes more fruity, and I like more fruity. I tend to go towards a really good Sumatran, which is not the same as a Sumatra that you get from Starbucks. That is the very little bit of shade that I'm going to throw in that direction. It's actually a good Sumatra. Oh my gosh. One of the jobs I worked at, every time I could get just a straight black cup of Sumatra, I would go for that every time. It tasted like a good campfire smells, and I don't know how you get that, and then it tastes good. Anyways, it was a good Sumatra is really, really nice, but it's more woodsy in flavor. And then if you get into South American beans, it tends to be more nutty in flavor. Usually, a large part of the reason why it changes like this is because of the way that they, process the beans, or dry the beans. That's better. Dry the beans. So in a lot of African countries, they'll dry the bean with the fruit still on, so it infuses the bean with that more fruity flavor, and that's how you get these blends where you'll actually taste blueberries when you're tasting it. And then more South American will use like either a process where there isn't any of the fruit around it, so it has more of that nutty flavor, or the honey process where like basically the pulp of the fruit is left on, so it's more of a nutty flavor, but there is some of that fruitiness. And the fruitiness of a honey process tends to be more of a like a pulpy fruit taste, like melon, or at least in my experience, melon, or what's another one? Oh, I'm blanking right now. Anyways, I'm going on that tangent again. So I end up buying 2 cold brews, which is 4 cups total, right? For one of my friends and I, and then I also got, they had this latte that was like a peanut latte, and it was absolutely amazing. Like the way that they balanced the flavors was so good, and it had like this sweet, lightly sweetened cold foam on top, and some, I guess, peanut dust in there, which doesn't sound appetizing, but was delightful. Anyways, it was like a nice, lightly desserty drink, and then I had it with a, how do you say it, taurine? I am probably saying that wrong. Oh no. But yeah, that dessert. And I think it was like a peanut one as well, but it was just so good. And I had been feeling absolutely horrible for weeks on end. And then suddenly, like, that kind of melted away for an hour. And I was just there with my friends, and I was so happy because I had discovered this delightful coffee place, and they'd done so well with the product that they created. And it made me think, like, I don't know what professions you guys have, or, you know, what you guys do with your lives, but I mean, I don't think it matters as much what you do, so long as you try your best while you're doing it. And you never know, you might touch someone like me who's been dealing with some pretty severe stuff. And something that seems so simple is like, it's a really touching experience. If you do your best and you show people your effort through creating something that is beautiful, even if you work at a job where people don't recognize that you're creating something that is beautiful, you really don't know who you're touching with that. So keep doing what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Or if it's not giving you any life at all, don't do it. You know, but yeah, it was really cool, and I want to go back there. It was a really good experience. It's been almost 30 minutes that I've been talking for. I hope this has been relaxing for you guys. I hope that the microphone works, and keep it up. You're doing well. We'll get through this. It will be okay. Thanks for watching.